So namaste, everybody. I'm so honored to be here with my dear friend and colleague, Jessie Stirling. We've known each other for several years now, but there's always been a soul-to-soul connection, a deep understanding, and we have seen each other grow through many phases. And I'm so honored to have Jessie here. He's an incredible meditator. He travels to India. I'm convinced he has several lives over there, and he has tremendous gifts to share with us here. He's also owner of a beautiful TV station and spiritual interviews. So can you fill us in on that, Jessie? Welcome, welcome.
Well, what an introduction. Thank you, Carolina. Namaste to everybody watching. I bow down to the light within you. I'm inviting that Amaram, Maduram space, that blissful space, and a space where we connect to the divine within us, that wonderful, unchanging, unborn, undying space that's pure, free, forever. So let's all take a big breath in, let it out, and let's dive into the good stuff. And really quickly about me, I was born into this pretty cool family. My grandfather started the first 24-hour TV station in the world. He was good friends with John Lennon from the Beatles. As they were forming an ashram in India, he wanted to form his own ashram. So I essentially grew up in the high Himalayas of India, was introduced to meditation at a very early age. For business, for work, for money, I still help run that TV station. But the cool part of my job is I host a show called Meetings with Remarkable People, which I've done for 21 years, interviewed more than 400 luminaries and a lot of people, as Carolina mentioned, of the spiritual persuasion. So love interviewing yogis and meditators and anyone who can bring people more inner peace.
How beautiful. Thank you so much. And before you were introducing yourself, you said a certain mantra. Can you repeat that mantra again? And then you said some English words too. Can you say that one more time?
Well, I would love to share my mantra with all of your viewers right now, which is Amaram Ham, Maduram Ham. Sanskrit words, Amaram Ham, Maduram Ham, meaning I am immortal, I am blissful. So obviously we're not talking about the body's born, the body goes through pain and suffering, the body dies. That's not the I that the I refers to. We're referring to that self, that divine self that lives in the cave of our hearts, which all of us have, our connection to the divine, which is pure, free, forever, omnipotent, omniscient, self-fructifying, and again, pure, free, forever, unborn, unchanging, undying. And really quickly, everything in the world of things and forms is changing, constantly in motion. So it's so interesting to ask that question, what is unchanging? What is that which is unchanging? And really it's God, the divine, the universe, providence, the Lord Almighty, the divine creator, whatever phrase you're comfortable with, because words like God can be really emotionally charged for some people. But I find it so interesting in life to, yes, we're human beings. We have to eat, drink, sleep, play around in that world of things and forms. But really, it's the brave lion that can break free from that cage that asks, why are we here? Why are we even here? Why were we born human? And what are we supposed to do as humans?
I love that. Thank you so much, Jessie. That is so beautiful and profound, because it's so easy to get caught up in the mundane, in our physical, how we look, how we feel, if we, break a leg or, have a disease or of anything like that. It's very challenging. So what do you think? Do you think that the earth is almost like a schoolroom where we come and we learn? If something is easy for us, there's a tendency to kind of just go with the flow and not, be so interested, but if we have challenges or something is very uncomfortable, do you think that the main way of learning as a human being, having a an unchanging, free forever spiritual soul, the evolvement, does that come from suffering more, or does it just is a phase of suffering and then you're more interested in learning more through those situations? How do you personally work through things like that?
That's a great question. It's the age-old question. I mean, it kind of ties into destiny versus free will. What are we here for? And I'll start it off, my answer, with a great story. When I asked my teacher, my guru, Swami Sham, that question, kind of, what should we do to maximize our time here on planet Earth? What do we do as humans? How do we get organized? And even I have these funny moods sometimes. I'm up, down, happy, sad, attraction, aversion. He really paused. Usually he answered right away. And Swami looked at me, kind of scanned me up and down. He said, "Your problem, dear one, is you were born a human being." So I think we all have to just give ourselves right off the bat and say, it's just so funny to be a human being. And you look at the whole history of humanity, the whole history of the world. It has been up, down, gain, loss, victory, defeat, happy, sad. So you realize the funny condition of being a human, but you can also realize there's part of us that's not human at all. And that's the part we connect with when we meditate, when some people call it a flow state. And so I think the purpose of life is to connect to the divine. Why are we here? You ask, is it a school? Can we learn from that? I always thought you can't not learn through this human incarnation. Even if you do everything wrong your whole life, you're learn when you die, I did everything wrong that incarnation. I'm not going to do that again. So it's kind of impossible not to evolve in some way. My personal theory of why we incarnate into human form, it's half of it is learning and half of it is fantasy fulfillment. You think about a dream, we're eating something, you can't really taste it, we're crying, the tears aren't really coming out. Things don't feel as visceral as it does in the waking state. As human beings, we operate in a 3D holographic matrix bound by time and space. This is a very visceral dimension. It's a very feeling space. And even the angels sit in awe of the range of emotions humans can feel. We can be on the top of the world one moment, 5 minutes later, bawling our eyes out, devastated. And at the end of the day, we're back blissful and content again. So what a trip it is to be human. And I think the key is just to be really easy on yourself, relax and enjoy, relax and enjoy.
I love that. So with the help of that meditation, is that how we, kind of zoom out and connect to our unchanging, or maybe it's zoom in, who knows? But anyway, whatever the mundane stuff, the emotions, the crisis, the chaos around us is happening, when we meditate, can we really just sit with it in a better way? Then how do you find like that middle way? Because you do want to express your emotions, right? Otherwise they get stuck in your body. So when you meditate, how do you connect and release emotions that may be stuck, or frustrations or anger? Sometimes certain emotions are very, respected here on planet Earth, and then some emotions are still like, oh, you can't be angry, you can't be this and that. So how do you work the emotional body through meditation?
Oh, great question, Carolina. There's a lot to unpack there. And my first initial instinct was, just be really easy with yourself. There's nothing wrong with emotions. We're not robots, we're humans. And there definitely is a spiritual egoism that can become an undertone of, I'm a big yogi, or I'm a big yogini person, and I'm above anger, I'm above sadness. And let's get real, everyone has moments of anger, everyone has moments of sadness. And in fact, as you were asking that brilliant question, I was remembering when I first really started getting back into meditation about 15 years ago, and was going from 5, 10, 15, 20-minute meditations into 1 or 2 hour meditations. You would think I would be coming out of this blissful state, feeling on top of the world, and I'd feel really mad at my brother, just randomly have all this anger inside me, these emotions that I had pressed down in there. But I personally believe, I'm not a medical doctor, I think a lot of diseases stem from dis-ease within our harmonic physical body systems. So it is in releasing these emotions, not by stuffing them in. It's by working through them. But I think the bigger picture is we've incarnated as humans. We all seem to have this drama to play out, whether you want to call it total free will, whether you want to call it fate or destiny. We all have these roles to play in the big drama, the cosmic drama here on planet Earth called being a human in life. But the only time you can pause the script, I've found, the only time you can kind of press pause on the playback of your life is through meditation. You seem to, at that moment, be totally removed from any kind of karma. Because what is karma? It's basically acting out in the waking state. And to back up even more, I loved how my guru taught meditation. He made it so simple. He said, look, there's really nothing that mystical or magical or airy-fairy woo-woo about it. There's 4 states of consciousness: waking state, which we're all in right now; the dreaming state, which we're familiar with. We've all had dreams; deep sleep state, which there's no mind, but also no awareness. And very close to the deep sleep state, there's something called meditation, which is a 4th state of consciousness. And it's that feeling of having no mind, no thoughts, no emotions, not using the senses, but you also have awareness. And so I think it's in that really incredibly powerful 4th state of consciousness that we can be removed from the cosmic drama, from the pain and suffering that comes with being a human being, whether it's on the mind, intellect, emotional level, ego, intellect, mind. You just take a break from all that. And you say, okay, dear nervous system, let's give you a little rest right now. And we're just going to take a dip into this pool, this meditative pool that's so peaceful and so relaxing. And even after 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 7 minutes, you're going to come back and you're going to be a much better human. Your discernment is going to be better. Your emotions are going to cool out. Even your body is going to feel better because you gave your nervous system that works so hard for you all day a little rest. I just encourage everyone listening to this right now, even if it's just one person that starts meditating for this 2 minutes a day, it's going to change your life. You don't need to change anything big about your daily routine. You just add a little bit of meditation and your whole level of consciousness is going to change.
That's amazing. On that note, why don't we take a little bit of a pause and maybe you can lead us in to, a 2-minute meditation. So
that would be my absolute pleasure. And that seems to be my specialty. I've been the opening speaker for Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle and got to interview some of the real spiritual masters of the world. But I think there's a real spiritual egoism in the West that you need to be sitting in a certain way, holding your hands a certain way for several hours in a darkened cave. And if there's a noise, it interrupts your whole experience. And that meditation wasn't valid. So I'm going to lead us right now in a very simple, very practical and accessible 2-minute meditation you can do anywhere. You get a little early to your meeting and you're in your car, you turn your car off, 2 minutes are available there. I've had single mothers say, I don't even have 2 minutes in a day. If you take 2 minutes in the bathroom, normally people don't bug you. When you're in the bathroom, we can all find 2 or 3 minutes throughout the day. So before we start, there's a little bit of preparation. Very, very simple. You want to sit comfortably. I don't think you need to make it any more complex than that in terms of how you're crossing your legs or not crossing your legs or holding your hands. You sit comfortably. I do a closed eye meditation. So at this moment, we can all take this opportunity to close our eyes and do a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Another one in through the nose, out through the mouth. And we're going to let our thinking now settle. Of course, thoughts are going to come and go right at the beginning, and that's totally fine. We're not going to follow those thoughts. We're not going to pay attention to those thoughts. We're not going to be angered by those thoughts, no more than we would be angered by clouds drifting across a beautiful light blue sky. We're envisioning that sky now, it's light blue. Some thoughts are coming, some thoughts are going. We don't mind them. It's just like the fun, silly sounds of children playing in a courtyard, echoing sound coming our way. And now the sounds are coming less and less, and the thoughts are coming less and less. And with every breath in and every breath out, we're seeking the gap between the thoughts. We're seeking the space between the clouds till we're one with just the beautiful blue sky. Oneness, pure sky space, bliss, peaceful, immortal, am I? Blissful, immortal, am I? Amaram hum, bliss. Maduram hum, bliss. Amaram hum, peace. Maduram hum, peace. Immortal me, blissful me. Immortal me, blissful me. Amaram hum, love. Maduram hum, love. Amaram hum, love. Maduram hum, love. And that was a dip into the beautiful, infinite, vast, unborn, undying, unchanging space available at all times within all of us, no matter where we put our bodies, no matter what our minds want to tell us, like a delighted, exciteful child trying to get our attention. But we know we're more than the body. We're even more than the mind. We are not the body at this time. We are not the mind at this time. We are the knower. We are the witness self. We are the higher consciousness. We are divine consciousness. We are supreme knowingness. We are pure, free forever at this time. You are pure, free forever. You are the one knowing the thoughts. You are the one discerning the thoughts. You are the one knowing the body. You are the one commanding the body. You are not the mind. You are the mastermind. As we take a deep breath in and a really big exhale out. One more in, and we're going to lion breath out with a nice sigh. Deep breath in. Lion breath out. Ah. Feels great to be alive with eyes still closed. We're going to rub our hands together. I like to do this. Get my energy back into the body. We're rubbing our hands together. We're creating that chi, that energy. And we'll gently cup our eyelids. Bring that energy back to our face and eyes and our senses. We blink our eyes open. Gently now move our hands and we can open our eyes. Give ourselves a little face massage if it feels good. Whatever feels good. The wonderful trip we've just taken, where we were not the body, we were not our thoughts, we were not our problems, We were our real self, the part of ourself that is connected to the universe, just as a wave, an individual wave, is connected to the whole ocean. We're having a little experience of being a human, of pretending we're a wave, but really we're the whole ocean, we're the whole universe. It's all really just oneness.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That was more than a meditation. I think that was a whole transmission. I could feel my whole forehead like vibrating.
We always have a great vibe, and I'll let you in on a little secret. I never plan anything. I never script it out. It comes out totally different every time. And my guru told me that whenever I would talk about oneness and meditation, he would be standing on my shoulders, whispering what to say in my ear. So it always seems to come out okay. And I hope that was helpful to that one person out there listening who is going to become a meditator because of this. It doesn't require 20 lessons. It doesn't require paying a lot of money for a mantra. You don't have to wear malas or a scarf. You can do it anywhere. It's free. It's accessible at any time, and it'll make you feel great. I promise you, if you do it, just starting with 2 minutes a day, your whole life's going to change. You're going to feel great.
Well, I have just, if I may share, I've been practicing yoga, teaching yoga for 25 years. I'm really into quantum hypnosis, but I have had a meditation practice, but it's been a little on and off. So I made up my mind that I'm going to do at least once a day. I do sometimes more, but I do a 3-minute meditation. And I'm on week 4. And I have little boxes that I just cross off, and it feels so good to cross it off, but it feels better to actually do that meditation. And sometimes it's actually difficult to take that time, but I think I've come to a certain place in my life that, my spiritual path is number one, like being of service, being connected in my heart. That's like the most important thing. That's the only thing that I think about. And then, of course, I have family and kids and all that stuff too. But that is really for my own personal development. That's what I've been thinking about for the longest time. And just through these 4 weeks of that very simple discipline of doing it 3 minutes a day. And I'm not being overly rigorous, but I am choosing to do it because I really am in my spiritual awakening, and I'm really interested, like beyond. And it's incredible what a response it has been for me.
Well, you're seeing the results, I'm imagining.
I see the results.
Doing it doesn't do anything. If it's not helpful or if it hurts you, why keep doing it? But I'm guessing you're feeling a result in your life.
Yeah.
And I salute everybody. I always make a point to say, look, this is the very rare soul that wants to embark on this journey. I think it's 1 in 10,000 people. Because look, our parents did the best they could. They've just passed down the wisdom from their ancestors, how to be a good human being, how to participate in society. And particularly nowadays, there's not a lot of value put on sitting there doing nothing. Don't just sit there, do something. And nowadays it's multitasking. So we're supposed to be on the phone while we're on our computer. Maybe the TV's on in the background, and it's sensory overload. So I always make a point to just really bow down and salute the people, the dear souls that are interested in this information and want to be like that brave lion who can break free from the cage of their societal conditioning and say, no, I am going to do this. I am going to take 7 minutes in the morning and 7 minutes at night, or whatever the number is for you. And it's a good point to say, this should always be pleasurable. This should never be forceful or unpleasant, like taking your medicine. If your number is 2 minutes, you'll feel great with 2 minutes. I was stuck on 7 minutes for years. Then it was 20 minutes. Then it became, finally, after decades, an hour or 2 hours. But there's no judgment. It's like training for a marathon. You don't go and run a marathon on your first day jogging. You don't try to sit there for an hour on your first day meditating. It's a practice. So we practice it and we get better as we do it. But it is anti to our whole nature, is our nervous system. Our brain is wired to keep us alive and to worry about things. So it will keep saying, oh, just right after you do this email, you can meditate, I promise. And wouldn't it be nice if you got a glass of tea first, and then you'll have your tea, and then you'll meditate. And your body will say, just itch me and stretch me a little bit. And this ongoing parade of sensory input until you just run out of time to sit there for 2 or 3 minutes and sit comfortably and close the eyes and breathe deep and love yourself as much as you can. So that's really all we're talking about. It's not anything more difficult than that.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And it was just so wonderful. Even though I have done it on my own, it just felt so so wonderful to be led by a meditation teacher like yourself. Hold on, I'm gonna just pause for 1 second. That felt so wonderful again. So, I had a couple, I have had yoga teachers, I've had spiritual teacher, I have shaman teacher, but I just feel, I felt your teacher behind your shoulder when you did this incredible meditation. But what a blessing to have a teacher like that and come from a family that is interested in spiritual awakening, and for you really to bring this lineage like to LA or Beverly Hills or wherever. So many people are interested, but it's just that fact of being interested enough and then in a loving way welcoming yourself in to that stillness.
It does have a teacher. Really helps to have a teacher, and it helps to have a community. And I've always had an analogy in my mind of, you get a fire going with all the logs and it's burning, this beautiful fire. You take one of the logs out, it'll still burn for a while, but it'll slowly cool down. So when you're together with a group of all seasoned meditators, that fire of knowledge burns so brightly. Or another analogy of the similar vein is, you're surrounded by mighty oaks who have their roots of decades of practice of meditation surrounding you. And so it's very easy for a young tree to take root if it's surrounded by a peaceful forest, blocking the wind, as you will say, of distractions from the world around you. But I think it is a really important point. We took a pause, and you've got barking dogs there, and I've got barking dogs in the other room. Someone helping me out with my cleaning in the background and laundry going, and
it's life.
It's life. And I loved my teacher because he was so practical. He put his ashram right by a road because he never wanted any problems with the authorities. It's like there was something hidden or weird going on. It's right there by a road for everyone to see. But I'll tell you, that road changed a lot from the early 70s to becoming almost a little super highway through the Himalayas. And I think he had the vision of like constant honking, car noises. You're never going to get an opportunity, very, very rarely in this life, where it's an hour of pure silence. Like I can meditate on airplanes now, in airports, on a bus, doesn't matter. You're never going to get that perfect tranquility. And really quick story, I've led meditation retreats, and we're in a beautiful, imagine a sunlit forest on a crisp, gorgeous morning. and I'm leading this meditation and everyone is into it and the birds start chirping and I'm just thinking, wow, this is perfect. And we come out of it. And one of the people learning said, it was a great meditation until that bird started chirping. I just, your perception is the reality. What I'm perceiving is this incredible divine moment, spiritually blessed, is an annoyance to this fellow, like an alarm clock going off. And it was a good opportunity to teach, like, we can't use as an excuse our senses and everything going on around us. Imagine India, a country of 1 billion people, all living in very close quarters. There's no mystery why incense was invented there. So your whole personal space of smell can be nice. And you have blankets, so you can even put it over your head and keep the flies away, and maybe have a candle going so the lighting is nice. And there's techniques you can do to create a nice environment around you. But I think the more important teaching lesson is that you bring your peaceful space to wherever geographical location in the world you are. You bring the space. The space is not going to be all perfect, ready for you to dive in. It's not a physical space of the world of things and forms we're talking about anyway. It's your inner space.
I've had this like feeling, like when you draw yourself in to the center of the center of the center, like you're kind of like rotating the energy. Like I feel like the toric field around you just starts to settle, like you create your own space. So that's one sensation or one practice that I do. So I think about myself when I'm multitasking, freaking out, and like dogs barking, kids wanting this, and you're like, wait. That we're more like electrical. But when I meditate, I like to think about myself like magnetizing inwardly towards me, and just holding that space for myself and my higher self, and just letting like a receiving, a gentle trickling in of my higher divine parts into my little human self. So that's one technique that I have found feels so good for me. I don't know why I said that, but I just guess I wanted to have your approval or your
I
take
love
on
it. Whatever gets you out of your individual mind and your individual thinking. For some people, it's a visual thing. Some people really like mantra, which is a repetition of a word or phrase. I shared mine, Amaram hum, Maduram hum. But it's very important that a word can be anything that makes you feel good. It can be, I am peaceful, I am blissful, I am peaceful, I am blissful. It can be even simpler. Love, 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 love. My father-in-law, who's 90, who I taught to meditate just a few years ago, he liked, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Some people even count. So what that is doing, mantra translated means mind release. You're tricking your mind to basically go up a flagpole, down a flagpole, up a flagpole, down a flagpole. And while your mind thinks it's very busy and being productive, you're leaving that aside and going to that beautiful space that's completely beyond mind. If you're really fidgety, chanchil is the Sanskrit word. If you're really, really fidgety, you can use you can see I'm striking olive beads right now. Amaram hum, Maduram hum, Amaram hum, Maduram hum, Immortal me, blissful me, Immortal me, blissful me. So you can, it's like kind of doing the rosary almost. You can keep your fingers busy and you're keeping your mind busy with the mantra. But I love that you shared that about what your process felt like, your toral energy field. I always find it's a process of almost cellular, like I'm a cell in the mind of God, and I'm thinking my whole world is the little Jesse Stirling cell, and suddenly I'm connecting with the bigger universe all around me, and I feel myself transcending my own mind, my little limited thinking, my Jesse Stirling problems, my room that I'm in, and now I'm seeing things from such a bigger perspective, universal mind, higher consciousness, cosmic consciousness. And I love that word, consciousness or conscience. We all have a conscience within us, that little Jiminy Cricket voice, which is kind of telling us this is a helpful thought, this is a destructive thought, this is a useful feeling, this is a not correct feeling. The more you tune in to that inner voice, the knower, the witness self, supreme consciousness, higher intelligence, the louder and stronger that voice is going to get, until your own mind is, like I said, a little child just playing in the courtyard. And we respect our minds. We love our beautiful minds. I'm not crazy about the monkey mind kind of thing. And my dumb mind is always, it's this beautiful little computer tool who's just doing its best. And a couple 100,000 years ago, we were trying not to get eaten by tigers and bears. And it had a lot more purpose in terms of keeping us alive. We live in a much safer society now, and it's still operating as if it's at every moment trying to keep us alive. So I find it really, really nice in meditation to just give your mind almost a pep talk before and say, okay, my beautiful mind, just going to give you a break right now. And I often like to use the analogy of technology as well. What happens when our phones start getting overloaded? Too many thoughts in our mind, too many programs open on your phone at the same time. What do? Turn it off and turn it back on. You reboot. And so that's what I think meditation is as well. It's this beautiful reboot for mind, body, and soul. You come back awakened, renewed, and refreshed, and you shouldn't feel like a robot or a zombie or spaced out. You should feel really sharp, and your mental acuity should be right on after giving your nervous system this beautiful rest.
I love that. And, you could really feel, the nerve endings, like in yoga, we're taught that the nerves are in a shape, kind of like a little tube, a tubular shape. And when the nerves or the nadis, the energy points, when we are stressed, they're all compressed, right? So, and then when you do the meditation, and you let the nerves kind of grow and expand like the leaves on a tree, or like you were talking about the tree before, how it holds you as you're in a community. But I also feel like your body can root down and spread, bring in the nourishment from the soil or the body. It's like so profound. And there's so many layers that are opening up. And if we just know that in a certain way, everything can become a meditation. And another thing that I wanted to share with you that I've been playing with, or I guess it was some form of a message that I received, but after a meditator practice yoga, when I go for my walks outside, I really feel like it's the universe looking out through my eyes. And it's like the universe using this little avatar called Carolina Goldberg body to sense its way and have these experiences. And then you're kind of like seeing everything in like crystal clear colors, and you're breathing more deeply, and you can feel the body like working in harmony and synchronicities, and how you reveal yourself throughout the day. So that was something that I love to teach, and I love to feel like universe is using my eyes to see itself expanding. So that's a thing where I really love to do that practice as well. But for me, I have to first kind of get in my body and balance out the nervous system in order to play that game.
Absolutely. Yoga is not supposed to end on the mat. So you're kind of supposed to live out yoga and live out a meditative state. So when you're having those moments on your walk where everything is looking crystal clear and the colors seem more vibrant, and I love the word synchronicities that you use. In my life, I find I get little, I call them God winks, or I get little moments where a hummingbird will swoop down right in my face, or something pretty cool will happen. I'll be thinking about a friend, and right then they'll call me on the phone. Even I'm thinking a nice phrase, and then I'll see it on a billboard or hear it on a TV program, and you think, that was odd, but you're in this flow state. You're in, I always, God winks, it's God saying, look, really much difference to what we're doing right now than the dream. And my teacher, Swami Sham, his last couple years, he even stopped calling it 4 states of consciousness. It really was like the waking state, the dream state, used to be 2 different states. And he started calling it the dream and the long dream, where consciousness having a human experience. There's not, we're bound. Yes, we're bound by time and space here, but it's really just kind of like a shared long dream we're all having together with a little bit different rules than our dream. Like time has to flow in a linear fashion, and you can't just think about India and be there. You have to jump on the plane, and everything takes, it's a little bit slower here. It takes a while, but the reward is we get to feel things so deeply in this 3D low vibrational plane. And so there always is going to be some struggle associated with being a human being. I don't think anyone should get in a mindset of like, I'm not happy all the time, I'm doing something wrong. Remember what my guru said to me: your problem, dear one, is that you were born a human being. We're all doing as best depending on our level of consciousness. So my lesson, one of my teachings in life, being somewhat of a perfectionist, has been to just be really easy on myself, try to love myself more, be easier on myself. And that phrase again, relax and enjoy. Just relax and enjoy. And I even asked him once about like use of time and money, and how should we use our money? I loved it. He was such a practical teacher. He said, well, eat really good vegetarian food. That's what the king would do. First of all, you spend your money on getting just the best, healthiest food. And then after that, what can you do but just be a tourist on planet Earth? Enjoy all the sightseeing, try to help anyone that comes across your path, leave everything better than you found it. But really, don't worry about it so much. Don't think about it so much. Just don't plan so much. Just relax and enjoy.
I love that. Like freedom and love. I feel like that's really the calling of coming in. So when we meditate, we can really connect in to the subconscious as we expand the consciousness itself. So I teach or facilitate, I should say, quantum hypnosis therapy sessions where we get to, just like you said, when you were meditating so long, and you're all of a sudden you felt upset with your brother because that was some unresolved emotion that came up. When I do my quantum hypnosis sessions, we usually go through some past lives and maybe even the current life, where we can both release suffering that has happened or that is stuck in ourselves through the lineages, but also that we can kind of collect and bring into the conscious awareness mind in this life our gifts.
It was amazing. It was, now we're getting out of my realm of expertise and into your gift. I mean, it's more than an area of expertise. I really think it's a divine gift. And I'll go back several years. We did a Reiki session when you were a somewhat new practitioner. And full disclosure, I had had a couple of Reiki sessions and I didn't feel really anything. Maybe the teachers weren't great. Maybe I was closed off at that moment for whatever reason. During your Reiki session, I found myself bawling my eyes out about my little dog Pickles that had passed a few years ago. And I didn't even know. I thought that was totally resolved. I didn't know I was carrying around that sadness in my heart. So I thought that was such a released feeling, and it was so beneficial to my body to not be holding on to that sadness. But then fast forward 5-6 years to last week, That was like a whole different kind of experience. It was, I'm not exaggerating when I say it was a life-changing experience. It was one of the trippiest happenings I've ever been through. It's lasted several hours. And I mean, quite literally, doors were flying open while we were doing it. Electronics were going crazy, almost as outside confirmation of some big energy was moving around here. Spirits were at play, benevolent spirits, our ancestors, ancestral forces, natural forces, what have you. But we not only did some quantum healing on me, there was some past life regression and a chat with my subconscious where issues were getting brought forward, very practical, specific issues that I had never even considered. Example would be like, replace one of the fillings in your teeth. That's like an old filling. All the other ones had non-harmful materials, and this one might have had some mercury in it. I've re-listened to this recording session, gone, wow, that is a really deep knowledge and understanding way beyond an individual mind level. So I would encourage all your listeners to do this. It's an experience. It's a game changer. It's a life changer. And you take it from here. I'm almost left speaking without how this moment was for me.
It was so, actually, now when you're speaking about the first Reiki session that we did, I remember that so clearly too, because I was newer to the Reiki and there was so much energy in the room. It was incredible. And we had I remember seeing birch trees all around, and I had that vision for you, or I don't know, we don't really know how it works, because when we go into these deeper states, we know so much inside ourselves. So when we connect deeply into this, we call it the subconscious in quantum hypnosis, but I think it can be your higher selves, your guides, angels, teachers, masters, anybody from the highest love and light vibration that is guiding us on such a profound level. And when we did our quantum hypnosis, first I always clear the chakras so we can go really deep. And it was such a honor to even sit next to you. I don't want to, reveal any personal stuff, but I could just feel so much, when we're sitting with the subconscious, it's the client who gets hypnotized, the subconscious is speaking through their body and mouth in a sense, but the energy that I am experiencing as I facilitate it, it's enormous. So I know that you had some incredible experiences as a master healer and meditator. I don't know when that was, but there were some gifts.
Actually, India as well. And I'm very open, guys, so I'll just reveal that this has been a little bit of a challenging year for me in my life. I almost died from COVID, and I didn't think I was the kind of person that almost dies from COVID. I'm a very healthy kind of guy. And so that was very humbling and very stressful. And I probably had from PTSD from literally, I mean, I'm not being hyperbolic saying I almost died. Like I really almost died a year and a half ago. And my mom is dying, and we all leave the body. And there's a time where our bodies get worn out like old clothes, and it's time to take this outfit off and put on a new outfit. So yeah, of course, I had some sadness and some grieving going on top of everything else. My first day on my trip back to India, which is normally a big time of hiking and exploration and movement and socializing, I broke my ankle in 2 places on a hike. So I found myself not even on a conscious level, on a subconscious level, in a little bit of a poor me space. Like, come on, universe, how much can you pour on me at once? Why me? Why is this happening to me? And really, it's all been for my benefit. The universe unfolds as it should. specifically with this broken ankle, I mean, what a time to really embrace stillness. And instead of skimming around the surface, to really be able to drill deep and dive deep and actually spend hours and hours meditating. My teacher once told me, imagine two balloons with a straw in the middle of them, and there's only enough air to fill up one balloon, and one is called social and one is called meditative. And so I'm a very social guy, and I love having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with all my dear friends that I've known since I was 4 years old when I go to India. But that ability to move got taken away from me. So a total meditative experience that ended up being a life changer. And to bring the story home, to land the point, while we were in this quantum healing session, hypnotic state, there is some miraculous healing that has gone on with my ankle. Like, I am 3 months ahead of schedule in terms of where I'm at with this ankle. I'm supposed to be in a walking boot and on crutches still. And I walked a mile yesterday pain-free, and it is amazing. I mean, to use a cliche, mind over matter, but what the body can do when we unlock our own hidden potential and we remove so-called limits. Wow. So I found one of the huge beneficial takeaways from our session was just healing on a body level. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was so profound. And you went, or your subconscious that I was hanging out with while you were in hypnosis, it went through every cell of your body and it was working and adjusting everything. And then you had a life as a beautiful sage. That when you were talking about that life in India, you remember that? All those gifts.
It was so crystal clear in my mind's eye. Suddenly I was living the life as this middle-aged, bearded, kind of sage cleric in orange robes, and the village around me and the festivals I was facilitating and the love I felt amongst this community, and I was living it out. So it was.
I feel when you were going through that life, I could feel the energy. And that's when the door flew open, by the way, I think. And it was just like so profound. And I really felt you as that person here. And I could also see how that light and all those gifts that you had in that life started to blossom within your heart. So for me, it was the greatest honor. And it was just, and thank you also for really coming on today in this beautiful interview. And
we have good chemistry, they say
we always do.
There's some kind of chemical reaction that happens, and it's always big energy when we're together, and it's coming from a place more than just our own individual minds or individual bodies. It's really a cosmic consciousness, and we're just channels. We're just trying to be those pure channels to take this knowledge and pass it on to any interested party. So I just thank your viewers so much for hanging out with us, and hope you got something out of it. And we love you, and we send you blessings, and may you realize your own immortality.
Blessings to everybody, and blessings to you, Jesse. And thank you for your expertise. I'm looking forward to many more of these.
Great.
And namaste.
Namaste. If anyone wants to contact me, it's really easy because my name, Jesse Stirling, I spell Stirling with an I, which like 1 out of 100,000 Stirlings is with an I. So I'm on like Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. My company is Stirling Studios on YouTube, Stirling with an I. I'm Jesse Stirling, and I'll leave you with the thought that a lot of us are sitting there and waiting for that one person to come into our lives and change us and help us and transform us. And that person is already in your life. It's you. So if you can just take 30 seconds and look at yourself in the mirror and do an eye meditation and take 7 deep breaths and love yourself as much as you can, you're doing great. Everyone is doing as best as they can. depending on their level of consciousness, and you are doing great. You are just pure free forever at this time.
Thank you. I will put all of that information at the bottom of the video. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Om Shanti Om Bur Swaha Tata Savetur Varenyam Barago Devas Yadi Mahi Dio Yo Ma Prechor Dayat Amaram Ham Maduram Ham.